Hello, and welcome back to the Tom Marshall Media Podcast. Today, we are going to look at a film that I saw yesterday, a film called Wolfman. Let's go. Welcome, one and all. Welcome to this review of Wolfman. Yes, it is directed by Lee Wanell. He also directed Invisible Man. He was also an actor. He's now turned director. The film is produced by Blumhouse. Okay, there's a production company that you possibly have heard of. They're responsible for films such as Get Out, Sinister, Insidious. They also did the Paranormal Activity series of films. They also did The Purge and all these other types of horror films with a relatively low budget, but almost doubling, tripling their box office numbers, and they just have a really good track record at the minute. So they know what they do when it comes to horror. So yeah, we're in good hands with this one. It stars Julia Garner, who you may know from The Ozarks. Also stars Christopher Abbott and Matilda Firth. The film is about a young inner city couple and their daughter who are working professionals and seem to be having marital problems. Charlotte, Julie Garner's character, is very career orientated and a journalist, while the husband, Blake, Christopher Abbott, is a stay at home dad, a writer between jobs. After having a big argument, Blake finds out that his father has officially been declared dead after a long time being missing. Um, Through the post, he receives the deed to his father's ranch as part of his will. This gives him the idea to go to the ranch, pack up his father's things, but will also give him a chance to reconcile with his wife. This will allow her also to bond with her daughter, who she is been estranged to, and reconnect as a family unit. As soon as they arrive in the woods, chaos ensues and becomes a fight to survive in this really sort of isolated part of America. Not only do they have external threats, they also have the internal threats and struggles as well. You can't help but draw some parallels to other films when trying to describe what this film is. As I was watching the film, I couldn't help but call out certain scenes and think to myself, Predator. Yeah, that is that's Predator. Yeah. And then other times I was like, Jurassic Park. That is straight from Jurassic Park. Yeah, that's Saw. I see what you did there. That's from Saw. Um, Jaws. Yeah, yeah, Jaws. Yeah. My movie brain was just like all over the place when it came to the influences and references that this film was making. I couldn't help in my mind just call out all these different films that I was noticing whilst watching this film, which is not a bad thing. The setting for the film itself was a character in of itself. The woods really sort of gave you a sense of fear and disorientation, as a lot of the time the only light source is coming from car headlights and torches. Kind of reminded me of like the ocean and the beaches out of Jaws, how at the end of that film I really didn't want to go to the beach ever again. Much like with this, the woods were very much a part of it. Yeah, I'm never going to the woods again, ever. Not after seeing this film. They did a genius thing where they didn't reveal the villain till about halfway through, three quarters of the way through the film, only teasing you by giving you little tiny sort of glimpses of it. For example, there is a scene where the family is being chased into the farmhouse, and you only catch like a little glimpse of it for a split second, and the director makes like a really good choice of pointing the camera in front of the actors instead of from behind, because so much of what you see behind the actors is covered except from the horizon and the tree line of the forest, which creates this really sort of eerie atmosphere, taking a leaf very much out of Steven Spielberg's book. Spielberg, somebody who said, "You fear most what you can't see. You fear most what you can't see." Fear of the unknown was all over the first 45 minutes of this film. Blink and you miss it. The sound design is also well organized in such a way that it really makes you feel isolated when you're in the farmhouse. Every pop, every bang, every creak, every growl, every snarl, every roar dialed up to 11. This particular sort of made me think of M. Night Shyamalan's Signs. Very similar. All you do is just replace the forest with cornfields. You replace the wolf man, sorry, with an alien. Voila, you've got Signs. So very similar sort of comparisons to both films there. In an earlier scene, Blake actually gets scratched by the creature, and throughout the film, drastically changes into something. When you see his point of view, the transition is cleverly done as it went from dark to light as his senses are heightened, and as he becomes more powerful, almost like he has his own sort of night vision. Sound familiar? Predator! Predator! Yeah, yeah, very Predator-esque, but it works really well here. It's really the camera moves from his daughter's point of view, which is in the dark, and comes round to his point of view, and everything is all brightened up. But he can't understand what she's saying because he's transforming into this creature, and yeah, it's really sort of well done. It's great. It's great. Um, the full transformation sequence when he fully turns into the Wolfman is very reminiscent of Rick Baker, who you may know is a legendary creature and effects artist from the early 80s and 90s, who was responsible for a lot of the creature effects in A Werewolf in London and a host of other films, but I chose this film because it's very much sort of related. And so it kind of reminded me of that whole transformation sequence. It's pretty remarkable. There's a horrific scene where they manage to capture the Wolfman and chain him up. To break free, he bites off his leg. Again, sound familiar? Saw. Yeah, that's what I thought. Saw. The dude in Saw basically cuts off his own foot that's chained also, and uses a hacksaw to cut his foot to break free. And little did I know that when I went home, I did some research. The director of this film, Wolfman, was actually in the original Saw film. He was the actor who I think his character's name was Adam, who discovers that he's also trapped the in Jigsaw's sort of escape room type thing, whatever you want to call it. But he's the one who's in the sink, in not in the sink, in the bathtub, and wakes up, discovers like what the hell's going on. So the actor from that film is the director of this film. Is what I'm trying to get at. There are many great moments in this film, but ultimately it ends on a rather somber and hollow victory. But it was a satisfying ending. There are many great setups and payoffs in this film that will make you leave the cinema feeling like you've watched a well-rounded film. It also is a very digestible and tight 1 hour 45 minutes. So pretty good. 1 hour 43, excuse me. Also, I feel it was a good choice for the director to use other film influences as it kept me engaged all the way through, whether he did it consciously or subconsciously. But that's my opinion. That's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments and chat, and let's get the conversation started. Is this the era of horror right now? Whereas last year we had loads of great horror films come through the pipeline. Is this year going to be another great year for horror films? Let's discover these types of films as we go throughout the year. And so yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this review. Let me know what you think of the film if you've seen it yourself, and I shall see you in the next video. Oh, and remember, please like and subscribe to this channel. Peace.